Hello, my name is Karujan, and today I'm going to talk about some financial lessons that may benefit you for the future. Firstly, I'm going to talk about making a budget as a useful tool in managing your expenses. A budget allows you to have full control over your expenses, and it will be a great resource in managing for future purchases of items. Moving on, setting goals will help a person make the most use of your money. The word SET is an acronym for see it, explain it, and time it. When you see something you want to buy, you should not buy it at the moment. You should explain it to yourself if it is worth it or not worth it. Then, if you do need it, you time that goal on when you want to save up to. A simple statement can help you save a lot. Furthermore, paying yourself first helps you for the future. The bank recommends to save 10% for yourself, and is a good way to save money for future emergencies. Finally, a bank account is also a useful tool. If you do have a bank account, you should follow these tips. You should separate your bank account into two accounts, a savings and checking. This is um, helpful for in easing your expenses. You should automate the money from your paycheck to go directly into your bank account. So every month you get $2,000, for example, you should automate $100 directly from the $2,000 to go into your bank account. And finally, name your account as a way to identify it. Moving forward, I'm going to talk about an app called You Need a Budget. You Need a Budget is a great application for anyone who needs to track, manage, and save money. YNAB is a mobile and computer-based app that allows you to make a budget. Today, I'll guide you in a step-by-step process on how to make a budget with YNAB and how beneficial this app can be in the long run. So, this is YNAB on the computer. It may look different on the mobile, but I might link you a demo for a mobile down below. So the first thing I'm going to do is add money to this account. Before starting this, we have to make an account in this account. So I'm going to add an account. Karujan, I name it Karujan Nagaraja. Awesome Tacular Budget. And I'm going to make it a checking account. So since I don't have a bank account or an actual bank to show you, I'm gonna just make an example. So I'm gonna make today's balance $1,000. The balance is the money you have in your original account. So essentially it's the money that you have currently in your hand. One good tip in adding a balance is to not add money that you might think you might get in the future, but the money you have right now. Now we're going to work on our budget. So if you go over here, you'll see different categories of different expenses that you might have. First, let's start off with immediate obligations and true expenses. These are the things that you have to pay for month by month. For example, groceries, water, electricity, and transportation. These are all immediate obligations. And in true expenses, there are things like clothing, gifts, and such as software subscriptions like Netflix or iTunes and so on. So just wait a second till I put my budget amounts for immediate obligations. Now, as you can see, whenever I put in an amount for each of the categories, subtracts from my original. So first I had $1,000 to be budgeted, and now I only have $275 to be budgeted for my other expenses. So now I want to budget my other expenses. So for me, I need clothes this month or every month as a teenager. So I want to budget it around $100 for this month. The rest of the things are things that I can decide for the future if I want to add on. Now, going on to debt payments. So I imagine if I'm a student at who surpassed uni and I have a student loan. So I'm gonna budget $75 for this as well. And as you can see, I'm only at $100 for things such as vacation, fitness, education, dining out, gaming, music, and just fun money. So I might want to budget for something important out of these, such as going out with friends or gaming or just for fun money. Essentially, what YNAB helps you to do is giving money a task to do for each category before the month begins. This is a good way in managing what you have left and set limits on things you want to buy. So I'm just going to budget what I have left. $50 for dining out and $50 for gaming. So if you want to add your own category, you can. For instance, if I want to have an expense for shoes and personally I like buying shoes every month, so I set up a category for that. I can change this category to shoes. As you can see, I've budgeted all my money for this budget. So what do I do? So imagine if I just got $500 as a gift or if I worked overtime in several days. So I can add a transaction to this. So I'm going to click on add a transaction. And as you can see, it names my budget. And I'm going to put it for yesterday's date. So since I don't have a payee, I'll just put my name. And I can put, as you can see, I can put it into any of these categories, but I'm going to put it into my overall budget. You can add a memo if you want to, and you want to add an inflow of $500. Inflow is a thing that you're putting into this budget, not what you're spending. That would be an outflow. And you're going to click save. And as you can see, I have $500 to be budgeted. And I want to clear this. So I have $500. Now I can add my budget for shoes. I'm going to put it around $215. So if you look at the top, you can see I have $285 to be budgeted. I have several options I can do. I can spend it on auto maintenance, home maintenance, and other things. Or I can save it up for May and have more money for May to budget. And I advise you to do this. Have some leftover money and save at least 10%, as I mentioned before. Another feature YNAB can help you in is in reaching your goals. And by goals I mean saving for little amounts for those big things. So in my case, imagine if I have a vacation to visit my grandparents and I want to save up for it little by little as I can. So for vacation, I'm gonna put a starting price for $100 and I want to save it up till July. In order to fulfill that goal, I can start a goal right here. Since I have a date, I pick target category balance by date. Let's pretend my vacation is $800 and I'm going to put it to July 2017. So when I create this goal, it tells me the percentage of my current completion. It, as you can see, it's 12%. Tells me I have to budget $100 more in order to stay on track towards reaching my goal. This is very useful for anyone needing to save up for something big, and this app allows you to do that. So in order to fulfill this goal of mine, let's change the vacation cost to $200. And as you can see, the percentage of completion went from 12% to 25%. And I have $600 left to go. And from previous it was yellow indicating it was a warning, and now I'm on the right track. So in order to get the best out of this app, you need to stay updated. Your money can come out of nowhere, and it might be a pain to pay for this month and the previous month's expenses. In order to prevent that, I'll show you a simple example. So for instance, if I paid my electrical bill this month, I go to my all accounts, I add in a transaction for today, and let's say the payee is a government. The category goes into electricity. I don't need a memo, and it goes to outflow as I'm spending money. Save, and I clear this. And as you can see, it subtracted $25 from my electric category. So this means I don't need to worry about it for the next month, May. And as you can see, there isn't a budget for this, whereas the other things, it'll add on. So if I didn't pay my rent for April, it'll add on to $500. So it'll be $1,000 in May. Finally, what would happen if I go over the budget? Everyone is not perfect, so let's see what would happen if I go over the budget. Imagine if I spent $50 more on clothing. So I spent $150 on some great clothing, and let's pretend it's the Gucci store, even though there isn't one. And I'm going to put it on the clothing section, no memo, and I spent $150 on a wallet for say. I'm going to clear it. And when you go to the budget, you can see it's red, indicating that I spent over my budget. So now I need to budget for it. So how can I do that? So let me click on this, the red highlight, and I can get money from my other budgeted categories. So I can pick from my rent, but I don't want to do this because these are my immediate obligations. So I advise you to use your just for fun. So I can either pick dining out or gaming, and I'll just choose gaming. So as you can see, I'll say cover this overspending with gaming. And now it's covered up for. So I hope you understand how beneficial this app can be. It also gives you your true expenses and immediate obligation in a pie chart for you to have a more visual look at your spendings. And another great thing is you can have multiple budgets. So if I want to create a new budget, I can. So I hope you learned that this app follows the previous lessons I said, from making a budget, using the budget properly, and setting goals. And finally, I want to thank you in watching my step-by-step process in making a YNAB account and how to use it. Thank you.